speak to some of the brutality that was faced by Prince Emmanuel by the authorities, while he was trying to put together the Bobo Ashanti order. It wasn't an easy tradition. So, just send some highlight on that.
All right. There was, there have been times, of course, when most of the times that King Emmanuel has been brutalized, it's when he went out to try to create the unity. And of course, there was the most vicious one was when there was this gathering in the park. I think probably it was
1958.
yes, and they broke the hand of a statue, probably by accident too. But ones used that as a means to, inflate things and push it out of context and use it, as a scapegoat just to beat Rastafari, because they were always seeking for. And so Jah was badly beaten, broke many ribs. He was badly beaten, And I was not there at that time, but what I have heard and what I have read, that's one of the times that he was very badly beaten, and even at back a wall, he was beaten. He has suffered wounds and bruises for Rastafari more than most ones that I know that have been beaten, but because he has been beaten to the point of death, they beat him until they thought he was dead. A miracle brought him forward. So it's not like he was simply, just simply, he was beaten unto death. They sing the song, them pick him up, them lick him down, him bunks right back. What a hard man for dead. Them say, a cat have 9 life, but this man has 99 life. That song was made describing King Emmanuel. Yes, King Emmanuel, he was talking about when he wrote that song, because it was right after the incident that song was written, to talk about, the ever-living life in the man, yes. So, I can't give you blow-by-blow details, but I know that was one of the times when he was very badly beaten. And that song came about just by way of how he was beaten unto death, but never died.
So speak to Prince Emmanuel's stance on human rights. This brutality that was faced by Rastafari. You spoke about him coming to the public, and advocating for the rights of Rastafari. What was his stance on human rights? And we know he was active with United Nations in terms of writing letters, and speak to the legacy, the human rights legacy.
He actually became the first recognized Rastafari in those days that was dealing with the United Nations. He managed to gain their attention. He managed to gain the attention of Queen Elizabeth as someone that is defending the rights of the people, asking for 7 miles of high water vessels to take the children of Africa back to the homeland of Africa. He has written to all the governments, the news media rather. He had gone to all these media to reason face to face, and in his time when he stopped moving around, he sent letters after letters about the various issues. As a matter of fact, today Bobo Ashanti don't write about world issues, but King Emmanuel would write about every atrocity that happened in the world to whatever leader, and he listened very steadfastly to his radio, and his gleaner had to be read to him, and he was fully aware of all the happenings. He was up to date with current events, and he would write to leaders, especially where it relates to or it involves black people, and any atrocity that was being done to black people, he would write to them. He would write to African leaders to let them understand and know. He sent letters to Mengistu in Ethiopia. He sent letters to Babangida, to Bishop Desmond Tutu, to J.J. Rollins, to you name them. As long as there's an issue, especially when African leaders are doing things, he would write to them. And most of the times when they come to Jamaica, he would go out to meet them. And all the time when they see us, they recognized us as a people in a place that they are not known to be originally. There's no African leader that does not come to Jamaica and see us and recognized us as Africans by our presentation. Even if they are not Rastafari oriented, they see the kind of presentation that we have and they know these people are Africans, you know. So King Emmanuel agitated. He was well known to Hector Winter, who was the head of the Gleaner Company in those days. He was visited by all the high-ranking officials in Jamaica, the university lecturers. You know, they came there, they reasoned with him. They asked him questions about the Rastafari, liberty and tradition and ideals. You know, he taught them. Professor Rex Netterford, Professor Barry Chevan, students of all walks, they come and he would reason with them. And he continues to agitate for the rights of people right through his time. And I think that's what I and I, in the now, as the sons and daughters, need to be focusing on more seriously. There was a time when he wanted to get a letter to the Queen, and he did not want the message to be diverted. And he put a red, gold, and green flag, a red, black, and green flag together in a pouch with his letter, and he got a red, white, and blue envelope and put those items in the red, white, and blue letter and sent it to the Queen, you know. And it was in the red, white, and blue package, so, you know, sometimes you give them letters, they would throw them aside and stuff like that, you know. So, and when she opened it, you know, she saw the flags and the emblems. There's a saying, Rasquasi, that she said, there's a man in Jamaica who is not to be molested, because in time to come his lords will be above her lords. I heard it. There are many ones who say that it's there. I've not seen it written, but it's one of the cultures of Bobo Ashanti, you know, because he's so well known as an agitator for human rights. He's hailed. Many Bobo Ashanti say he's the champion of human rights. And there are many documents that came to King Emmanuel that were diverted and taken away by the government too in those days, because especially there were times when they tried to send false addresses to the United Nations and to people. Especially there was a time when he moved from one place and letters were still going there, and we learned that there are many documents that went there that would have identified and put him in a more highlighted position as a human rights agitator. But those documents have been, you know, hidden and kept hidden. But of course he's known that, you know, he is one of the leading defender of the rights of black people, not just Rastafari. He never spoke for Rastafari alone. He always talked about black people, you know. He said, if it's even those in the prison, because he said the black man really has not done anything wrong. It's the kind of atrocity that has been brought down on him from the colonial system and the kind of trauma that we end up with that really, you know, cause much of what we suffer, what we do, what we say, you know. So he was always agitating for the black man's rights. As he said, the work that he's doing is the continuation of the Honorable Prophet Marcus Messiah Garvey. So he speaks for Rastafari, and of course, he makes every effort to defend Rastafari in anything. Even today, people still come to the camp for different letters. When it comes to defending their rights, getting their children into school, or getting exemptions from different things, people would come to ask him what they are to say, you know, in terms of defending their rights.